Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming this rainy afternoon. I am a native Oregonian, so this looks kind of normal to me, but everybody in Colorado is kind of bummed about this. And I actually left, Portland and Corvallis, where I went to school, so I didn't have to live in this, but we're getting our taste, and now we know how they live. I'm Roy White, and I'm president of the Board of Trustees of the Foundation. And thank you for coming today for our scholarship ceremony. We meet today to give community service awards and scholarship awards to deserving students. These students demonstrated acts of generosity and impressive scholastic achievement that made them rise to the top of a large number of scholarship applicants. Some have had to overcome difficult challenges to excel and graduate from high school and go on to college. Others donated a significant portion of their time to others while working hard to stay on top of their high school studies. Many have done both. You'll hear a little more about this year's award recipients in a minute, but I want to take a minute to thank our business partners who help us fulfill our mission, and our mission is improving the St. Vrain Valley through philanthropy and charitable leadership. Thank you to our platinum sponsors, Seagate and Colorado State Bank and Trust. Thank you to our gold partners, First Bank, First Western Trust, Golden Triangle Construction, Guarantee Bank, Main Street Investments with Monica Baldwin, and US Bank. Finally, thank you to our silver and bronze partners, High Plains Bank, True North, Downtown Longmont District, True North Insurance, I should have said, Burden Inc., Merrill Lynch Wealth Management, Longmont United Hospital, Constant Contact, and Mountain View Orthodontics. I also want to acknowledge the members of the Longmont Community Foundation Board of Trustees who are with us today, or if you're with us today, please stand. Monica Baldwin, Dale Bernard, Carol Croft, Brad Douglas, John Gaddis, Jan Kanemoto, Kristen Koval, Sonia Morero, Jeff Nading, Sam Knapp, Susan Shirley. Susan, you got to stand up because I know you're here. There's Susan. Susan Weiser and Matt Zavala. Matt's here too. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you all for being here on this day of celebration. Now I want to turn over the microphone to Marjorie Weibel, the Longmont Community Foundation's Scholarship and Donor Relations Specialist, who has a few words for us.
I'm so glad to finally meet all the scholarship and award recipients. For me, this process starts in the October of the previous year. I start creating all the applications, changing them, taking all the changes into account that either the committees or I kind of felt like we needed to do. I start distributing to the high schools and to all the organizations in December and January, and then they start flooding our office in February and March. But in a lot of ways, that's the easy part. The next part is done by our selection committees, evaluating the applications and making some difficult decisions. And they're hard because of the high caliber of the local students. I give some advice to our selection committee members in evaluating the applicants. Basically, I tell them, try to look at them compare them to each other as a group instead of to students in general. And I do that for a very specific reason. It's because the people that apply, it's a self-selected group. They're generous with their time to local nonprofits. They're talented musicians and talented athletes, and they have very impressive scholastic achievements. The thing I hear more than anything else in these scholarship committee meetings is how do the kids do all the things that they do? And these decisions aren't easy. I'm very grateful to my selection committee members who do this difficult work. I'd like to thank them now. We have a few of them here. Please stand to be recognized if you're able. Reverend Max Bailey, Nancy Baker, Monica Baldwin, Kathy Block, Kathy Caldwell, Erin Edler, Taylor Epscamp, Grace Fiamingo, Luann Gorenstein, Rebecca Herman, Jeff Howe, Jan James, Ann Jennings, Donna Lionberger, a person who prefers to remain anonymous, Sonia Marrero, Carol Mathis-Kraft, Sue Mesh, Christy Miller, Kathy Oliver, Dr. Don Owen, Diane Rogo, John Rostakaus, Beverly Shreenack, Lee Smoot, John Bellenkamp, Myron Wisman, Carol Ann White, and Don Wood. Thank you. The scholarships and awards that we're honored to give out today began for a large variety of reasons, as I'm sure you can all imagine. All of them, though, share the common thread of donors who want their generosity to benefit the next generation, giving them resources to continue their education and the knowledge that their community is behind them and supporting them. As we present the awards, you will hear a little bit about the individuals the scholarships were named for. We're also very grateful to and like to thank these donors. One last thank you to Xilinx for allowing us to use this wonderful space. We're honored to have Dr. Don Haddad, the superintendent of the St. Vrain Valley School District, here today. Dr. Haddad started at the district more than a dozen years ago as the principal at Niwot High School. He was named the superintendent of the district in 2009 and was named the superintendent of the year in the summer of 2013 by the National Association of School Superintendents. This past year, the St. Vrain Valley School District surpassed Boulder Valley School District in size and moved from the 8th largest district to the 7th largest district in the state of Colorado. With more than 30,000 students in 53 schools spread over 111 square miles, the challenge of providing each student with the type of education they need to succeed is not a simple one. Please help me welcome Dr. Haddad to the podium.
We are growing so fast as a district that I think since the time you just heard the comments till when I walked up, we grew by another 2,000 kids. So we're now up to 32,000, and we span out over 411 square miles. And if you've seen the growth in this area, it is absolutely amazing. It's growing at warp speed. So, but I want to thank Eric Ozempa for his leadership with the Community Foundation and the tremendous support that he's provided for our schools and so many of our students. And I also want to thank the Board of Directors for the Longmont Community Foundation for really giving your time. It's a labor of love, and the work that you do and the support that you provide has really benefited a number of our students, and I am absolutely grateful for that. I'd also like to see a show of hands of our students in the room. Could I see who's here to get? All right, well, that's fantastic. Well, I want to congratulate you on the excellent work that you've done and the recognition that you're receiving today. And the recognition that you're receiving today is as a direct result of the hard work that you've demonstrated. And you will find throughout your life that there's a strong, strong correlation between hard work and success. So you continue to take that formula and play it out year after year, and you'll see good things happen. And the old saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get, seems to be absolutely true. So continue to do that. And what you're doing not only benefits you as an individual, but on a bigger scale, and truly, truly an incredibly important scale. The work that you're doing and will continue to do as you grow and develop is crucial to our success as a community, as a state, as a country. You know, there's a saying that I always like to share with people. It's one of those things that I think really captures the essence of what public education means to this nation. And it's by Horace Mann, and he said, "From our public schools comes the greatness of a nation." You think about those words for just a second. From our public schools comes the greatness of a nation. Now, if you have any doubt about that, I'll share with you approximately 90%, give or take a percent, because it always ebbs and flows, of all children in this country, grades kindergarten through 12, 90% attend public schools. So if you don't think that that cohort of 90% of our future population moving through is going to determine the future of our country, then let me say it again. 90% moving through our public schools in this country. That's how critically important the institution is. It's something that cannot be taken lightly by anyone, and our young people in the room will move on to whatever it is that they choose to do, and they will take their place in society, and they will become that next generation of great people. I have had the privilege for over 30 years of watching greatness in the making when I have seen kids go all the way through. Now I have students that were my students who have children in the St. Vrain Valley School District, and they invite me to their child's graduation. That's how it works. It's by design. Kids grow up and they become our future citizens and leaders, and so it's absolutely important. And the last thing that I'll say to our students that are here today, in the 30-plus years that I've had the privilege of serving so many of you, what I have come to understand is that the formula is pretty basic. It's not easy to achieve, but it's easy to articulate. And it's about hard work. The harder you work, the better things are going to be for you and everyone around you. And hard work is just that. It's hard. But don't always look for the path of least resistance. Look for that pathway that will lead you to the place that you really want to be. And with it will come hard work. Your character and your integrity is going to be absolutely critical as you move through life. You know, they always talk about character as being more important than your reputation, because character represents who you really are, and reputation only represents who others think you are. So always pay attention to what that voice inside of you is saying, and even if it's not the most popular decision, if you believe it's the right decision, then act with character and with integrity. The other thing that I would always ask you to think about is just the simple acts of kindness as you move through life. You know, we always have choices of how we treat other people. Sometimes we have a difference of opinion. We have a different way of viewing the world. But it doesn't mean we can't still be kind and compassionate to others who see things different than the way we see them. And these are the kinds of things that I've found over the years have been really, really important in terms of future success. And the last thing I'll leave you with is just that piece around leadership. And leadership is about a clear vision for a better future. So you can see it clearly, but then you can also inspire people to achieve it. And when the two of those things come together, the ability to see a better future for people and the ability to inspire them to that better future, that is a powerful combination. And sometimes you're going to find in your life that it's easier to sit on the fence. It's easier not to have an opinion or a direction. But it's not necessarily the right thing to do. And when you think about the right thing to do, exercise your leadership and make a change that will make this place a better place for you and everyone else. I'm very, very proud of you, and look forward to your continued success. And once again, thank you to the Longmont Community Foundation for the tremendous support that you have provided for our students and our schools. Thanks a lot.
In 2000, the idea was born to recognize young people who are working to solve problems in the St. Vrain Valley through community service. Since 2000, the foundation has honored more than 175 students with a community service award totaling more than $95,000. While the students gave their hours of community service without expecting anything, it is with pleasure that we can honor and recognize their contributions. The recipients of the Community Service Awards this year contributed a total of 1,267 hours, which averages out to more than 200 hours per student. Please keep in mind that that's just for this past year. When you think about how many hours that they potentially could have given during their four-year high school career, you can understand why I'm optimistic that for the future that these students are going to create. These students expressed in their essays that they recognize the difference they can make through their volunteer work, and several mentioned how they want to continue this contribution after high school graduation. In addition to helping others, these students often remarked about how helping others has enriched their own lives and made them appreciate their circumstances even more. Either from learning leadership skills, discovering a possible career direction, or seeing how their actions have improved life for another, they each expressed that their volunteer work has changed them for the better. We have 6 recipients this year for the Community Service Award. Each recipient receives an award of $500. I would like to invite a member of the Community Service Award Selection Committee, Carol Ann White, to the podium to introduce the award recipients.
Good afternoon. My name is Carol Ann, and it is such a privilege to be on the selection committee for the St. Vrain Community Service Awards. Every year in the spring, I look forward to seeing all the amazing things that are going on in this community. So our first recipient is Kate Berriman. Kate is graduating from Lyons Middle and Senior High School. She's been involved with community service since a young age. She recalls as a young girl helping her family volunteer by carrying canned food from the food bank in her Pooh Bear backpack and delivering it to families in need. She then moved on to creating ideas on her own. At 7 years of age, she started a blanket making party to give fleece blankets to children in need, and that's still an annual event today. Moving forward to the present day, Kate worked with 3 other students to start the Lions Leo Club, which is a youth component of the Lions Club International. Kate has been volunteering with the Helping Hands group in Lyons to repair and clean out homes affected by the flood. However, since she and other students were under 18, they were not allowed to contribute as much as they would have liked due to the group's insurance policy rules. By starting the Leo Club, the insurance part was solved, and they were able to encourage other students to get involved and contribute to the recovery of Lyons after the flood of 2013. Instead of giving up, she found a way to help those in her community and also to encourage others to help as well. Please help me congratulate and thank Kate Berriman for her service. Our next recipient is Catherine Bishada. Catherine's graduating from Niwot High School, and Katie has made community service a priority throughout her life. She started serving through Girl Scouts, 4-H, and the Boulder County Youth Council. With these formative experiences starting her interest in helping others, she attributes her passion for community service to her involvement in Key Club at Niwot High School. According to Katie, Key Club epitomized the idea of service leadership. Every service project that I have participated in has been an activity that benefits others. This past year, she organized volunteers for the Bonfee Blood Drive, decorated Easter baskets for Operation Easter Bunny, weaved plastic shopping bags into sanitary birthing mats for Uganda, wrote letters to veterans and deployed soldiers, and fundraised for Eliminate Project of UNICEF. In addition, she hasn't shied away from leadership positions and the extra time that it entails. Katie started her sophomore year as vice president of her local chapter and soon after was voted lieutenant governor for District 11. This past year, she was voted the Rocky Mountain District Convention chair and was also responsible for planning the annual district convention, managing the people and finances to put this event together. Katie's Key Club experiences have honed her leadership skills, and the projects have created a compassionate soul. What a wonderful combination. Please help us congratulate and thank Katie. Our next Community Service Award recipient is Christian Brubaker. Christian is graduating from Silver Creek High. As with the past 2 recipients, she's made volunteering a long-term commitment. She's been volunteering at the food bank for more than 9 years. She started by stocking shelves, cleaning refrigerators and freezers, registering visitors, and distributing food and clothing. More recently, she's moved into leadership positions, doing, among other things, coordinating 25 Boy Scouts to demolish the existing storage shelves and remodel and construct new shelves and structures. Due to her long experience at the food bank, Christian states, "As a volunteer for my community, for those who are in dire need, I am reminded of how truly blessed I am for having those basic essentials that some do not or cannot obtain. It also motivates me to keep working harder and not giving up my goals to ensure that my family does not end up in a similar situation. It also gives me pure satisfaction to know that I am making a difference, even in the smallest of ways, to my community. Exposure to this experience positively enforced my goals of attaining a professional degree where I can make a bigger difference by providing services that they would not otherwise have." Please help me to congratulate Christian for all the work she has done and to encourage her in her future endeavors. Emily Kelzolari is graduating from Meade High School and has been volunteering since a young age. Sharing a common goal of helping others has led to many deep friendships, and she cherishes and attributes these to volunteering. At Meade High School, Emily is the president of both the National Honor Society and the Interact Club, which is the only 100% service club at the high school. Through these leadership positions, she has learned how to encourage creativity and the involvement of members by making sure that the voices of all the members are heard when making decisions. The Meade Rotary Interact liaison, Veronica Silva, wrote her a letter of recommendation, and she writes of Emily, "Through the 2 years I have known Emily, I have watched her grow into a fearless leader. She is not afraid to take on challenges and takes them on with pride and a sense of true commitment." Emily mentions how through leadership roles in these clubs, her goal has been to make an impact on as many people as she could in her community and school and improve life for others. She plans to continue her service by volunteering as a tutor during college and encouraging all students to go beyond the means of just learning, but to apply their knowledge to life and to change their community. Please help me recognize and congratulate Emily. Dylan Dufour, our next recipient, is graduating from Frederick High School. Dylan volunteered through his church, the Town of Frederick Youth Commission, a local middle school, the district's Superintendent's Advisory Board, the National Honor Society, Rachel's Challenge, That Place Colorado, and his high school. While he's been involved with the Town of Frederick Youth Commission for a few years, this past year he was elected chairperson for the commission. One of the projects they organized is the Thanksgiving Dinner in a Box. While he was chairperson, he was able to get the word out effectively about the program and double the number of people that they were helping. In his essay, he expresses the joys of helping those in need. "When I brought food up to the house, I saw little kids who were extremely excited to see us. I will always remember how good it felt to see the happiness we were bringing." Dylan also felt he made a difference volunteering at his high school. His work with the incoming freshmen during orientation for 3 years allowed him to help them avoid stress by learning that it gets easier after you learn the routine. Hearing it from someone who's been there recently helps the message sink in clearer. Please help me congratulate and thank Dylan Dufour for his volunteer work. And our final community service award is given to Gaya Kiramkanda from Niwot High School. She has volunteered for Meals on Wheels, the Red Cross Club, the Bhutanese Refugee Empowerment, and the Boulder Homeless Shelter. But one thing that really impressed the committee was that she does something that we all universally do not enjoy: taxes. Who among us would like to spend their free time volunteering to fill out tax forms? That's what I thought. Gaya Gaia volunteers with the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, VITA, which is a nonprofit organization offered by the IRS to help low-income families file their taxes. Gaia explains a little bit of what this entails. I would greet families and help them fill out tax filing forms. They didn't know how to read English and understand only a few spoken words. Sometimes I would have to act out unknown phrases to explain information to them. Always I smiled and made sure that they felt safe and comfortable in that environment. Alongside, as the only youth member, I realized the role of communication and leadership. Additionally, I learned patience and diligence, not giving up even if I had to explain concepts and terms multiple times. As I got to know the families, I was inspired even further and became an IRS certified tax preparer. We are grateful for the selfless hours that Gaia has given to help others in our community. Please help me congratulate and thank Gaia. Congratulations to all the Community Service Award recipients. And now I'd like to turn the mic back to Marjorie.
Thank you, Carol Ann. I'd like to thank the Community Service Award recipients one more time for the whole Longmont community. You gave your hours of community service without expecting anything, and we can't expect much more than that, but we're pleased to recognize your gift of time and service, and we wish you a lifetime of meaning and purpose. I'd now like to turn to recognize our scholarship recipients. We administer 8 scholarship programs that award scholarships to high school seniors. 6 of them will be presented today. The other ones include the Meade Community Day Continuing Education Scholarships, which were celebrated in March with the Town of Meade trustees, and also the Robert Baker Jr. Scholarship, which is given to a graduating senior from Algonac High School in Michigan, which is from where Mr. Baker graduated. We also have one scholarship which is open to women who currently have at least 30 credit hours of college credit. The scholarship is the American Association of University Women, the Longmont chapter. This year they chose to distribute 3 scholarships, 2 for $1,000 each and 1 for $500. AAUW's mission is to advance equity for women and girls through advocacy, education, philanthropy, and research. Our local chapter is a vibrant group and growing group of women who are happy to be celebrating their 68th anniversary this year. AAUW scholarship is given to women who have completed, like I said, 30 credit hours of college classes, and they have a cumulative GPA of at least a 3.0. They need to be a graduate or current resident of the St. Vrain Valley School District and be pursuing a career that promotes equity for women and girls, education, health, or positive societal change. The scholarship recipients this year were Catherine Nickel, who was a teacher at Northridge Elementary, pursuing a master's with emphasis in literacy, Megan Tedasco, a chemical and biological engineering sophomore at CU Boulder, and Kelly Kloster, a sophomore at Grand Canyon University, studying for a bachelor's in the science of nursing. Now for the scholarships we're recognizing today. We'll start with the Dr. Jack and Margaret Bynan Memorial Scholarship. This award was started by Margaret Bynan in honor of and memory of her beloved late husband, Jack. Jack graduated from Frederick High School in 1942. He enlisted in the Navy in 1943 and served this country in the Pacific Theater during World War II. After his service, he returned to Colorado and attended the Colorado State College of Education, now UNC, and played varsity basketball there for 4 years. After working for a few years, he decided what he really wanted to be was a dentist. So with Margaret's encouragement, he went back to school, and at age 39, he graduated with his degree in dentistry and practiced for another 36 more years before he retired. After Jack's passing, Margaret wanted to honor Jack by giving a scholarship to an outstanding Frederick High School graduating male student athlete who plans on attending a Colorado university and ideally participating in the athletic program. The scholarship grant is made to Frederick High School directly, which forms a committee to determine the recipient. Margaret passed away a couple of years ago, and the remaining relative asked that the scholarship be renamed the Dr. Jack and Margaret Bynan Memorial Scholarship. As the scholarship is an endowed fund, the amount changes from year to year. This year, it's $3,358. Kathy Zuloff, a counselor at Frederick High School, works with a group that chooses this award, and she was very excited to tell me about Andrew Parker, a gifted athlete with the Frederick basketball team. Andy will be attending Metro State in the fall. Please join me in congratulating Andrew in receiving the 2015 Dr. Jack and Margaret Bynon Memorial Scholarship. Our next scholarship is the Catherine C. Owen Scholarship. And I'd like to introduce John Vellenkamp, a member of the Catherine C. Owen Scholarship Selection Committee, to introduce the scholarship and the recipient.
Good afternoon. I've been announced, or at least introduced already. I'm John Vellenkamp. I'm the managing editor at the Times Call. And I am one of the 3 people who are on the committee to select the recipient of the Catherine C. Owen Scholarship. The scholarship is in the memory of Catherine C. Owen of Meade. It is awarded to one St. Vrain High School senior who will attend the University of Northern Colorado or a Christian college. Selection is based upon the student's essay, academic performance, financial need, letters of recommendation, and achievements in school and in the larger community. This one-time scholarship is for $1,000. I know that I speak for Kathy Caldwell and Luann Gorenstein, who are the other members of the panel who select this recipient, when I say it's a privilege to serve on the panel, not just because it's fun to give someone else's money away to deserving students, but because each year we're inspired by the stories of the students who apply for this scholarship. The decision is not an easy one. If it were possible to reward all of these students with scholarships, we could do so, and we would do so. So you can be sure that the person who receives this year's award is the best of the best. A hardworking, highly talented, and intelligent young woman who does her school and her community proud. As one of her teachers notes, this Lyons High School senior is, quote, a very loyal, hardworking, and dedicated student. She makes use of these qualities by consistently maintaining outstanding grades in all of her classes, and by participating in a wide variety of extracurricular activities. She is respected by her peers, and although she is not always aware of it, she demonstrates leadership by her respectful and hardworking nature. Here is an incomplete list of her accomplishments and her memberships at Lyons High School. National Honor Society since 2013, Student Council since 2011, cross country, track and field, band and orchestra since 2011, including her selection to the District Honor Orchestra, District Honor Band, and Combined League Honor Orchestra. This is in addition to numerous academic excellence awards. That's not all. She is a volunteer math tutor, a church nursery care volunteer, and a founding member of the Lyons Leo Club, the community group you heard about earlier during this presentation. This student, who has known since she was in kindergarten that she would like to be a teacher, has done all of this while holding down a job and while maintaining an unweighted GPA of 3.976 and a weighted GPA of 4.244. And as Charlie Daniels would say, I guess you didn't know it, but she's a fiddle player too. And she's a really good one, because I've heard her. So congratulations, and join me in congratulating the recipient of this year's Catherine C. Owen Scholarship, Savannah Drotar. I was so looking forward to meeting her. Okay, we'll get this to her another time.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, John.
Well,
Next is the Philip McClellan Scholarship. This was established in memory of Philip McClellan by his wife Nancy and their daughter Courtney. Because of their commitment to furthering one's education and out of their own family's tragedy, an experience of serious illness and eventual death of a parent, Nancy and the family wanted to offer this scholarship to a graduating student who had also experienced the loss of a parent or a serious illness of themselves or a family member. Philip was an engineer working as an engineering project manager for Quantum Corporation. He enjoyed collecting and restoring classic cars, motorcycles, and building and improving the design of home-built airplanes such as the Midget Mustang. From talking to Nancy, she mentioned that he collected everything, and she kind of showed that by saying Model A's, British bicycles, Civil War guns, and that was just the ABCs. Nancy describes him as the smartest man she ever met, but she also confided to me that in 4th or 5th grade, he was tested and he was only reading at the 1st grade reading level. They could tell he was really smart, so they tested him. He had an IQ of 160, which happens 0.01% of the time, or about 1 out of every 10,000 people. It's considered a genius level. Math was one thing that he loved, and you didn't have to push him at all to learn any kind of math. This is a one-time $1,000 scholarship. The Philip McClellan Scholarship this year goes to Jonathan Schlegel of Berthoud High School. While I have read many good letters of recommendation in my role at the foundation, this is one of the strongest that I've read. It's a long letter, so I won't read all of it, but a couple of snippets are, this is my 20th year working in education, and in this time I've come to know thousands of students. I've had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Jonathan, and I have never been so impressed with one of my students. He is by far one of the most intellectually outstanding and hardworking students I have ever encountered. Jonathan's vast knowledge is only overshadowed by his uplifting team spirit. I have seen him take new members under his wings, inspiring them to look at the world differently and teaching them skills they can use for the rest of their lives. Throughout his volunteer work, Jonathan cherishes the opportunities he has been given to be a positive male role model to young students lacking that individual in their lives. I believe this role is immensely important to him because of the common bond and understanding he shares with these children. Jonathan lost his own father to cancer over a year ago. He stayed consistently by his father's side during both the initial battle and the reoccurring one that ultimately took his father's life. He handled himself during these stressful times with dignity and grace. When his father's business was at risk of closing, Jonathan figured out how to keep it open. Being the only family member living at the time with his mother, Jonathan had taken over the responsibilities of keeping the cars running and the property and the farm management. He has bravely faced each new obstacle while continuing to thrive in his academic and extracurricular endeavors. He has maintained a positive and grateful attitude throughout life's ups and downs. Please help me congratulate Jonathan Schlegel for receiving the 2015 Philip McClellan Scholarship. Our next scholarship was given in memory of Madeline Marie Mozanne Sherrod. Please help me welcome Kathy Oliver, a member of that scholarship selection committee, to the podium to introduce the scholarship and the recipient.
It's such a privilege to serve on a scholarship selection committee. You just see such wonderful, wonderful young people. It's an inspiration and gives you so much confidence for the future of our country. The Sherrod Scholarship is open to upcoming college freshmen who are about to graduate high school in the St. Vrain Valley School District, the Ainsworth, Hay Springs, and Wood River, Nebraska school districts. It's a scholarship that can be renewed beyond the freshman year. The Madeline Marie Moltzon Sherrod Scholarship honors the memory of a very special person, Mrs. Sherrod. She lives on in our memories as we know her to have been a talented nurse, a devoted wife and mother, and a friend to many. Madeline Marie Moltzon was born to Marie and Albert Moltzon February 23, 1939, in Benedict, Nebraska. The family moved to Wood River when Madeline was 2. Her father was a family doctor. He died when she was 6. Madeline graduated from Loveland High School in 1957, then the Denver University School of Nursing in 1963. With a bachelor's degree in nursing, she worked at Presbyterian Hospital and Denver Children's Hospital. Dr. Dale Sherrod and Madeline Marie Moltzon were married March 13, 1962. Dr. Sherrod was attracted to Madeline's warm and beautiful smile, her absence of selfishness, her kindness towards people, as well as her understanding and undemanding nature. To quote Dr. Sherrod, "Looking back, I can say that Madeline and I were very blessed to have our marriage. We both felt tremendously fortunate to be married to each other, and we told each other that many times. We would write each other surprise love notes and put them in strategic places. We both enjoyed that a lot. Their first child, Ray, was born in 1965. Daughters Gwen and Susan completed the family with birth dates in 1968 and 1970. In 1966, Dr. Sherrod was drafted with the Army, and he had to leave his medical practice here in Longmont for that period of time. The family moved to Fort Bragg in North Carolina, then returned to Longmont. Not long after the birth of Susan, their youngest daughter, Madeline was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor. There were 10 wonderful years of marriage and family. However, Madeline died December 4th, 1972. The children were ages 7 to 2. There's an anthology that I put back on the refreshment table that includes some letters from the children, letters from friends and family, and a tremendous testimony to the wonderful life that Madeline did live. And it would be worth your time to stop and have a look at that. The numerous good memories include the family of 5 going to the Longmont Trojan Theater to see Jungle Book together. They had lots of fun. They had joy. They had a wonderful life. Madeline, the loving and caring wife and mother, is remembered by this scholarship. This year, our Madeline Marie Molzon Sherrod Scholarship Award winner is not able to attend the ceremony because she lives in Wood River, Nebraska. And she attends high school there and is graduating there. Her name is Madeline Lure. She is often called Maddie. Yes, our winner this year is a young lady from Nebraska who just happens to be named Madeline. She stood out clearly due to her abilities in all the categories defined in the selection. Her academic performance and level of difficulty of class selection witnesses her high ability and her willingness to work hard. Her ACT scores are indeed impressive. Her high school activities show her to be a high-performing multi-sport athlete. She is a musician of strong quality in not only saxophone and piano, but also in vocal music. She excels in speech and drama. Throughout high school, she has been involved in leadership, and she has been an officer. Not only has she been the recipient of many, many honors, she has also overcome difficulties. She has faithfully served her church and her community. Her employment includes lifeguarding and working in the farm fields. There is college financial need for her larger family. Madeline Lure's dream is to go to Concordia University to prepare for a career in secondary education. She wants to equip herself to teach literature, writing, speech, drama, and instrumental music. Sounds like a small high school, doesn't it? To do all those things. In her essay, she writes, "If I should be so fortunate as to be granted this scholarship, it will make my college dream come true." That's the sort of dream held by the Sherrod family. Using email, Madeline offered these comments on receiving the scholarship. She said, "First and foremost, I would like to thank the donor of the scholarship for creating a source to help students continue their education. I will strive to make the most of my college education in honor of receiving this assistance." Secondly, she said, "I would like to thank the Longmont Community Foundation for honoring me with this scholarship. It is a true blessing. I hope this helps you get to know her a little bit. And I did use my email and went straight to FedEx and was able to produce a picture for you. So if you'll stop by on the refreshment table, you'll see both the anthology and the picture that shows our Madeline Marie Molsom Sherrod Award. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. This past September, Longmont lost a pillar in our community. Stuart Golden was a successful businessman and a philanthropist. He actually was one of the original founders of the Longmont Community Foundation, and he was ahead of his family business, the Golden's Companies. He had many passions in his life, but a large one was music. He became a proficient musician by the age of 13. Throughout his life, he enjoyed playing for various churches and organizations. Stuart graduated from CSU in 1962 with a degree in music education. As a CSU alumni, he gifted the university a liturgical organ studies chair. Stuart was a lifetime member of LifeBridge Church, serving as the organist for 60 years, and a member of the Barber Shoppers vocal group. The Stuart Golden Music Scholarship was established to celebrate his love of music and to enable others to study voice, piano, or organ. This is a one-time $500 scholarship. The 2015 Stuart Golden Music Scholarship goes to Matthew Dillon. Matt is graduating from Lyons Middle Senior High School. He plans on majoring in piano performance at CU Boulder with the ultimate goal of becoming an orchestral conductor. I've mentioned earlier how appreciative I am of my scholarship committees for the hard work they do in evaluating, discussing, and ultimately recommending the scholarship recipients. I facilitate the whole process. I even facilitate the meetings to make sure that the choice is fair and that no outside information could be swaying anybody. What I didn't tell the committee at the time was that I actually have personal knowledge of Matt. In my outside life, I volunteer as the treasurer for Westview Presbyterian Church. I keep the books, pay all the bills, and I do payroll. A couple of summers ago, our regular pianist could not be there for the whole summer. And so our worship chair found Matt through some connections to fill in for leading worship every week during the summer. To be honest, when I received his application, I was absolutely shocked. If you had asked me before, I would have told you he was either going to CU Boulder currently, or maybe even graduated, and this was his profession. It never occurred to me that he had just finished his sophomore year of high school. He played with the confidence of an adult, which if you've ever played piano while people are singing is not an easy task. There's no fixing mistakes, no going back or even pausing. The tide of singing continues, and the accompanist better also. As the daughter of a church organist, I tend to notice these things. Matt played like he had been doing it for years. I didn't yet mention any of the things that Matt has done, which the selection committee did consider, and which impressed them. From accompanying the Jubilant Singers to performing a senior recital featuring several local vocalists, from being a 3-season athlete in cross-country, track, and basketball, to being members of his high school band, jazz band, and National Honor Society. There is more to Matt than music, but it is a big part. He's a well-rounded young man that the selection committee was pleased to choose to be the first recipient of the Stuart Golden Music Scholarship. Please help me congratulate Matt Dillon. Our next scholarship is in honor and memory of Brad Miller. Brad passed away in January of 2014 at the age of 47. He had a son in his first year of college and a daughter still in high school. He was passionate about his kids and was involved with the things that they loved. He coached his son in football starting at the age of 7. As a result, he not only influenced his own son, but many of the boys from the Frederick and Firestone area. Friends and family donated to a scholarship to be given to 2 graduates to Frederick High School who epitomized the student athlete. They need to have a minimum GPA of 3.25, have participated in the athletic program at Frederick High School, and plan on attending a 4-year college or university in Colorado. In addition, they are scored on their strength of essay, demonstrated in strength of activities both in and out of school, with the Frederick High School athletics weighed more heavily, the strength of their 2 letters of recommendation, and their academic achievement. This is a one-time $1,500 scholarship for each recipient. The 2 recipients this year are Dylan DeFore and Kyle Kolonowski. Dylan plans to attend UNC and major in biochemistry. After college, he hopes to go to dental school and then open his own practice. Dylan played basketball and baseball for Frederick High School, and as you'll recall, is also a recipient of the Community Service Award. I won't repeat all that he's done through his volunteer work, but suffice it to say, he is a talented athlete, a hardworking student, and a giver of his time and talents to the community. Please help me congratulate Dylan one more time for receiving the Brad Miller Memorial Scholarship. The second recipient is Kyle Kolonowski. Kyle plans to attend CU Boulder and double major in engineering and music. Kyle has played golf and basketball for the Frederick Warriors, earning 4 varsity letters. He plays in the school's concert and marching bands, percussion ensemble, and jazz band, in addition to playing in Bill Wilkinson's Longmont All-Star Jazz Band. He volunteers his time at his church and local elementary school and works in landscaping during the summers. His math teacher, John Crosby, wrote highly of him, saying, "Kyle is the best I've seen in 13 years, and in that time I've been privileged to teach the very best who have passed through Frederick High School." Kyle's ability comes packaged with charisma and character and humor. His innate gifts would let him coast to any grade he wants in class, but he always gives the very best he has and leaves those around him feeling better. Again, we're privileged to present Kyle, an athlete, scholar, musician, and donor of his time and talents, with a Brad Miller Memorial Scholarship. Please help me congratulate Kyle. Hopefully he's I want to encourage all the college students, and particularly this group of soon-to-be college students, to continue looking and applying for scholarships. There are some out there, so make sure you talk to your college financial aid office when you get to school. I also mentioned that we administer the AEUW scholarship for women who have completed 30 credit hours. You should have about 30 credit hours under your belt by the end of your freshman year, so young ladies, look at applying your sophomore year. In addition, I would love to increase the number of scholarships given to local graduating high school students and to continuing college students. Please call me and talk to me if you're interested in that. In closing, I was thinking about what I wanted you guys to take away. So, many, many years ago, when my kids were really little, I had a 4-year-old son and a 1.5-year-old daughter, I was traveling by myself with them to Syracuse, New York for a summer vacation. I traveled a lot for business, and I knew how popular we were going to be on that plane. I knew we were in trouble as soon as I got to DIA when I looked up at that monitor, and it was already 3 hours late, our flight leaving. Well, it turns out we left 6 hours late from DIA, finally got into Chicago O'Hare because there's no direct flights to Syracuse, and come to find out, all the flights that day to Syracuse were canceled. Now, we didn't find that out until we had been booked on 2 different flights and sat through and waited for those to come and go and finally get canceled. Now, we had arrived at the airport in Denver at about 8 o'clock in the morning. By 10 o'clock in Chicago, my kids had had it, and they let it be known. Well, as luck would have it, I had read something, or someone had told me recently how kids love adventures. Now, I wasn't sure I believed it, but I turned to my kids and said, "This is going to be an adventure. Let's see what happens next." I could not believe the attitude change. My son was so excited. He decided he really wanted to help to figure out what we were going to do next. And my daughter calmed down because her brother calmed down. Well, it turns out we got booked in a hotel. If you've ever been in Chicago O'Hare, they have a hotel right outside the United Terminal. We had to cross all that traffic with our carry-on luggage and 2 little kids. We made it across. Got booked into the hotel, went up to our room. It was the first time I ordered room service that my kids had ever known. My son still talks about the time, the adventure we had when we got to have room service. They brought food to our room and we got to sit on the floor. Well, the reason I'm telling you this is college and after may not go as planned. But please remember, life is an adventure, not just a way to get to your destination, even if it's a summer vacation. I hope you enjoy the ride, but when the bumps come, I hope you can see it all as an adventure, allowing you to explore new sides of yourself, learn all you can, and maybe even sit on the floor and eat some dinner. I wish you all the best and want you to know that Longmont thinks you are special. We had lots of applications for each one of these scholarships, and my committee saw you as someone special, someone with a lot of potential. Congratulations and be well. I would love the recipients to meet me in the back so we can take a quick picture. And then thank you so much for coming.